Girl,
Everybody
it's
follow
packed
the one
out
line,
here tonight.
please. Follow the one line, please.
I told you.
IDs out. I need to see IDs. Thank you, ladies. Welcome to Park Ave.
Excuse me. Hello? Can you move? What? Excuse me. Oh my God. You ready to go? Girl, I've been ready.
Well, hey, girl, hey.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. So,
Hi, guys.
I told y'all how, I think last week, did I tell everyone how I stand LaToya Jackson?
Yes.
So, Adrianna took the time.
started to follow her.
She took the time to go review LaToya Jackson's Instagram page. And what did you realize about our good sis LaToya?
I realized that LaToya Jackson is that bitch.
She is.
Because she requests finger bowls.
She does. Listen, y'all better not serve LaToya a meal without giving her the proper finger bowl.
Don't you dare give her lemons and a hot towel.
You better give her a finger bowl so she can clean her fingers and her nails before she partakes in her food.
Amen.
And my girl love a glass of champagne and a martini.
Yes. And she has she's at lunch with Brenda
Ritchie, Kathy Hilton. I told y'all LaToya Jackson is still a size 2.
Lady of lunch, honey.
Listen, ladies who lunch is LaToya Jackson. I'm telling y'all, go to LaToya Jackson's page and watch her live her best life.
She is. And she loves to say, hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
This is light.
This is LaToya. I'm really happy that you enjoyed LaToya's page.
I do. I love her hashtags. They don't make any sense.
Her hashtags never go with her picture. But you know, all people on Twitter is like, all people on social media is like one of the funniest things to me. Her, Tina Knowles, Lawson.
Yes.
It's just, you know, she's just
pure comedy.
It's pure comedy. You know, LaToya went live the other week. She didn't know how to cut it off. So it was like an extra 10 seconds of her trying to figure out how to cut it off. And then I was like trying to coach her through the IG live, like, no, you hit the button. And then eventually she got it.
That's hysterical.
But you know, LaToya Jackson,
we stand for you.
We stand for you.
I'm a believer now.
Recovering Party Girls is here for you, girl.
Yes, indeed.
So, what's popping this week? What have you done?
So, I recently purchased something, a book.
Okay, money. Listen.
Light.
I just ordered a LaToya Jackson book called Starting Over, and it still hasn't been delivered, and it's been 9 days.
Did you order it on Amazon?
Yes. So me and Amazon finna have a conversation.
Was it a third-party seller? Because third-party sellers actually take a long time.
It was a third-party seller.
So I literally ordered a book, I think in April, and I received it the first week of June.
Okay. So I'm going to let y'all live Amazon.
Yeah.
Because
third-party sellers are the worst.
I've been trying to get my hands on this LaToya Jackson book, Starting Over, where she talks about her mafia ties and, you know, just life.
Yeah. So what's cool, I bought this book. So I saw it on Twitter. Shout out to Twitter, man. I really thoroughly enjoy Twitter because it puts me on new artists, new authors, and all that type of stuff. So I was reading an excerpt from a book. Ava DuVernay retweeted it. And it just resonated in me. So, of course, I did my due diligence and I researched. And I found out it came from a book called Wild Embers. The author is Nikita Gill, Nikitagill. And basically, it is a book of poetry for the rebellious spirit. And when I got it the next day because I have Amazon Prime. Shout out to Amazon Prime. But basically, it's just, I don't know, the book just resonates within my spirit. I loved reading it. It's not a long book. It's short. Mm-hmm. But it just did something to my spirit, and it really kind of got me on this, like, yeah, I'm a wild woman, and hear me roar.
Roar.
I've slayed dragons.
On the daily.
I walk through fire.
The shadow of death. I take a look in. Wait.
I look in the mirror and say, shadow of death.
Nothing left. And I've been classing and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. Ain't that Gangsta Paradise?
It is. But shout out to Nikita Gill. She's obviously wrote different books, but this particular book I found and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think you guys would enjoy it. If you are in the market for a new book, give it a whirl.
All right.
That's what's cool in the city.
Reading is fundamental.
And it's good for your spirit. I'm telling you, this book really, really spoke to my soul. I posted it on Twitter maybe like a week or two ago. It really did. Like, some of the stuff that was in there, it's more so for the women versus men, you know, because it talks about, she has this other section about the Disney characters, and basically saying what she would tell her daughter about the Disney characters. And one of them that stood out was Sleeping Beauty, how, you know, the prince came and kissed her and then she woke up. And she was basically saying how she would teach her daughter that it's not okay for somebody to kiss you while you're asleep.
But you know, they do. People are so draining. Like, no shade to her in the book.
No. I totally got where she was coming from.
I get what y'all saying about how a lot of stuff is problematic. But with that being said, like, relax off the Disney movies and shit. My fucking God.
Yeah. But I felt that. And you know what? I think it's a good book. I think you guys should check it out. Again,
Christ.
Nikita Gill, Wild Embers is the name of the book. I reposted it on my social media, on Twitter. Actually, AD is too cool. Follow me. And that's about it, Jack. Back to you, Joe, in the studio.
Why do I have to deal with this? Okay, so this week, my Woman Crush Wednesday goes to Synclaire James, later Synclaire James-Jones, from Living Single. Y'all know the show. Y'all know
We are living,
hey, single.
Ooh, in a 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girl.
Keep your head up. Ooh, keep your head up. That's right. And then it goes on and on. But Synclaire is my Woman Crush Wednesday because she is the queen of bitch don't kill my vibe. She is the empress of chakras and good energy. And we should all learn to be a bit more like Synclaire. Now, the thing about Synclaire is, no matter what was going on in that house, no matter who was beefing with who, no matter how many times Khadijah...
She was neutral.
She was neutral. No matter how many times Khadijah came down on her, she always had a positive attitude, was always there for Khadijah. You know, Shamar Moore was after her. You remember that episode when Shamar Moore wanted to get with her? You know, she ended up with a man and married before everybody else on that show, even though Overton was a bit slow too. But still, she ended up with the man and minding her business. So we need to all just... It's just an inner peace when you mind your fucking business on all accords. And Synclaire taught us that. Synclaire never cared about nothing. Synclaire really was just like, oh, the house is on fire? Well, let's look at the bright side. At least we're all outside together. You know, Flavor's machine broke down. It's okay. At least we know how to do it by hand. So we don't even need the machine. It might take us 2 days, Khadijah, but we're going to get it done. So listen, I just want everybody to take a little moment and just be Synclaire.
And be positive.
Just be positive. Woo, woo, woo. That's
Mind
all.
your business.
Woo, woo, woo. That's all.
Oh, Ovi.
Oh, Ovi. Girl, like, she was like a virgin till she was like 100 and shit. Because remember, she lost her virginity on the show. And like, honestly, like, Synclaire, I forgot what were they from Nebraska? Where were they from? I forgot where they were actually from, her and Khadijah. But like the simple,
they were from Jersey.
They were from her with Jersey, and who else was from Jersey? Kim Phil's character, Regine.
Yeah.
The thing about Synclaire too is she got to like live in a brownstone in New York, being a fucking receptionist to a struggling magazine. Like, that is the win.
Like, who does that?
Like, who does that? She got to, and then the thing is, she got to live out her dreams because she wanted to act. So who else would get like, hey girl, you can come live with us. This rent is going to be cheap because there's 100 of us staying in this brownstone. I'm going to give you a job. You're going to F up on a job every day, but I'm not going to fire you because you're my cousin. And you just going to live a good life and you get to, you know, come to New York. Like, struggling New York. People go to New York and sleep on cots with rats and roaches trying to become...
a whole brownstone.
Yeah, they had a whole brownstone. She had her own bedroom. Like she had time to go to like acting classes and go to auditions.
And they had that swinging door to the kitchen.
Yeah, they had like it
Who
was
does
just
that?
yeah. They had nice furniture. They had cable. They never was hungry around there. So like they had a backyard because they had that barbecue that one time when that's when Regine decided she wasn't eating meat no more. So I mean like she lived a really like who else? That is like the dream to go to like a New York or LA and like live in a nice space and have job security because Khadijah wasn't gonna fire her. Khadijah don't need you. Single. Living Single was such a good show. So being like Synclaire, like that Christmas episode when everybody kept trying her, she still gave everybody their Christmas gifts and they felt bad and had Christmas with her. It's just, you learn so much from just staying positive and not letting people make you jump out of character. God will bless you if you do that. So I took that from Synclaire James, played by Kim Coles. So thank you. Thank you to Living Single. You guys were a wonderful show.
Amen. Amen to that.
So that's that. You know, I was on the IG and they were talking about the difference between like how people rally behind Demi Lovato versus how people rally behind Lamar Odom and Whitney Houston. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Do you think there's a difference?
Absolutely.
But why?
I mean, the color of the skin.
But do you think, but like we were talking about it, and I kind of think like white people rally behind white people regardless because white people are thick as thieves. I expect white people not to rally behind black people because I mean they just don't anyway. Do you think it's like our fault too? Because black people make a lot of
behind black people unless it's something like almost like I can't think of the word.
No, because like I kind of feel like maybe we have this attitude of we can talk about each other, but don't let nobody outside talk about each other. But then it's like we kind of give like we hand off people like we let because we crack jokes. People run with those type of headlines because the thing is people weren't nice to Whitney when Whitney was going through all her stuff. People weren't nice to Lamar Odom, but I genuinely remember people not being nice to Whitney when she did have a legit problem. We cracked jokes. She was on
that 2020 with Diane.
Yeah, I mean, crack is
whack, crack is cheap.
It's still funny, but it's like even that show. It's not SNL, Mad TV, like the Mad TV clips and how we called her a crackhead and how we made jokes about like her problem. Do you think it's a problem with black people making fun of our people? Even though and I know it's not in a malicious way. Maybe because I'm black, I'm saying it's not in a malicious way. But I know it's not them like being mean. But
isn't it mean though?
It is mean because honestly, I never laughed at that era where Whitney really it was just like damn, and like they were cracking jokes. I didn't laugh even then. I didn't really laugh
because you got to think about it. Like that's a very sensitive issue. Drug addiction is it's not like, and I think sometimes as black people we seem to like make it seem like that doesn't exist,
or is it our coping mechanism?
Whatever it is, I'm not too sure, but we have a tendency to make light of
everything,
really heavy situations.
Everything.
Instead of offering support and try to understand, we offer jokes and condemning instead of saying, wow, she must be really going through something. Instead of saying, oh, crack is whack. She said crack is whack, crack is cheap.
Look at that crackhead.
She's a crackhead.
Crackhead.
And that's the same thing with like the stigma with black people and mental illness. Mm-hmm. Like black people don't want to go see a psychiatrist. They don't want to see a doctor, whatever, because they have this whatever preconceived notion about mental illness. But mental illness affects everybody.
It does.
And just because, you know, you have these people that are addicted to drugs, that doesn't make them any less of a person that they should be made fun of. And I think that sometimes us as black people, we tend to like not take seriously those type of issues because they really are. I mean, because I think it's a real thing.
Because like, okay, so even like shout out to Michelle Williams. You know, we've stand for her on this show before.
Absolutely.
Like
she went and got help.
But then she got help, and then I read all the comments, and it's like, oh, pray for Michelle, pray for Michelle. But it's like, y'all are the same ones that said like the worst things about her when it came to Destiny's Child. Mm-hmm. When really, and arguably, Michelle is probably the most successful person, sans Beyonce, out of Destiny's Child, if we're being honest. And I said this before. Michelle has put work. Okay,
yeah,
them gospel,
she's been in plays. She has gospel
albums. Not even that. Michelle, like, I think she's part owner of like the WNBA team in Chicago, and Michelle has like that bed and bath line and candles. Like, Michelle's went to work.
Yeah,
sans post Destiny's Child, but like even before that, it's like we joke so much it becomes like
when is enough enough?
It's like bullying. It's like kind of how like when you in high school and middle. I don't know, like when I was in high school and middle school. Like the boys will crack jokes, and maybe the first two are funny, but then when you go on to joke number 15 on day number 7, is that not bullying?
No, like I've had that, like a guy, because I used to wear high water pants. Granted, I was growing, my pants couldn't match up. You know, like I was just tall and lanky, and I remember this one guy. He would always pick on me. And the first couple of times, it was like, oh, okay, ha, 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 ha. But then I remember this one time, he had said something about my pants. And I just looked at him and I go, you know what? Fuck you.
You was fed up.
I was fed up.
The dog was fed up.
I was fed up. You know, and he was just like, excuse me? And I go, fuck you. You're a tall, lanky-ass motherfucker that thinks that you can talk shit to me? Fuck you. And he just looked and he never made fun of me again after that.
Yeah, because, and I think it might
Black dude too.
But we're like that. Like, I think it's our defense mechanism. Even like the thing about slavery was a choice. Then it went through, everybody started like cracking jokes about slavery being a choice. And yeah, it was funny, but it's like, do Black people as a whole not process pain and sadness and those type of things well? Like, I think as a whole we don't process things well. So.
Because you look at your family, I look at my family and how they process pain or whatchamacallit, how they process like self reflection or whatever. And I think that a lot of times they don't know how to handle like defeat, or they don't know how to process emotion. And I think
it's almost like I find joy in the fact that, you know, like even with the what's the white lady name, and she was a cook, and
Paula Deen.
Yeah, like even I remember the night of Paula Deen, it's like everybody started cracking these jokes, and granted the shit was funny. I remember that night on Twitter, but. And then it's many nights like that on Twitter. Like when Kanye said slavery was a choice, that was like another night. It's like we tend to crack jokes and be so funny. And I mean, the jokes are funny. I'm not gonna lie. I sat there and laughed.
Super funny.
But then on the other half of that, it's just like, wow, we really don't. It's like, I don't know. Like, should we worry about the fact that we kind of take everything like this and we find a way to laugh about everything? Or is that a good thing? Or is that a defense mechanism? Is that a bad thing?
That's a defense mechanism. And it's not even like a bad thing.
I mean, but then too, it's like, because the jokes get the best of us, because that's why people like, well, they're treating Demi different. It's like, well, I expect white people to treat her different. She's white.
Yeah.
They're going to protect their own. They protected, I remember Finn from Glee died with like a needle in his arm from heroin. They didn't even give him...
Ledger. I mean, he's like the ultimate...
They still won't... Y'all still won't admit that Elvis Presley overdosed in the bathroom. Like, y'all would not... Y'all keep saying heart attack. Granted, Whitney died of a heart attack too, but y'all won't let us forget that it was drugs in her system, just like it was drugs in Elvis Presley's system as well. But y'all not gonna say that's the same. Or even the Prince thing was like he was an addict, and it was like, no, he actually made a mistake with the way the dosage went. Yeah. So it's just really, it's just disheartening, I guess, because I think at some point we need to protect our own, like white people tend to protect their own.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because it's like we get it double. We get it. We're going to get the jokes from Black people, then we're going to get the smooth, like, crackhead from, like, white people as well.
But that goes, again, back to Black people saying, like, not not necessarily.
And granted, I laugh
fun.
at all. Listen, I laugh at all these jokes too.
Not,
like, don't.
Not necessarily making fun, but acknowledging that is a problem. Acknowledging like mental illness is real, depression is real within the Black community. Drug addiction is real within the Black community. And I'm really happy
Michelle Williams got help and said she was going to get help.
Yeah.
And because the thing too about Michelle Williams is like, well, she has money. Well, she just got engaged. Depression don't have to do with the things around you.
That.
It's you and your own. It's you.
It's
your mind. It's your feelings. It's you. It doesn't have to do with anything around you. And people need to understand that, because it was like, well, Michelle got this. Michelle got that. It don't matter when you're in your own head. It don't matter when you feel inadequate. And let's be quite frank, half of y'all didn't help her feel adequate.
The main one saying that sure was the main ones commenting, talking about, I'd rather be Kelly than Michelle.
Which, I mean, like I said, I think Michelle might be the one who's most successful post Destiny Child.
Because Kelly even said that her record label dropped her.
Well, I read that, and people saying she wasn't profitable, but I think Kelly needs to find, you know how people have like a personality? Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't follow Kelly enough, but I really don't see like a specific personality from Kelly. Mm-hmm. Like, I kind of know, you like know everybody. She's a pretty girl. Kelly's gorgeous. But I don't really, and maybe because I don't think I even follow her on Instagram.
I know.
Yeah, I don't
follow any of them.
Yeah, I might follow Michelle. No, I follow Beyonce. And I think I follow Beyonce and Michelle. But I just, I can see that, though. I just don't feel like I know Kelly outside of Destiny's Child. But, shout out to Michelle. Good luck. Good luck with everything. I'm happy you went to get help. Mental health, honestly, if you feel off, if you think you need to go talk to somebody, I'm an advocate for a therapist, go.
Also, look at your diet. There is scientific evidence that proves that your diet plays a part in mental health.
So fried chicken ain't working for your mind.
If you're eating a lot of high processed foods, that could be something that can trigger depression. I read that the other day. That's why I was just like, oh my God, I need to, that's why I made that meal, because I was like, yo, I gotta eat some healthy shit, like some chicken, some asparagus,
drink your water,
sweet potatoes, drink water,
lots of it,
maybe a glass of red wine every once in a while.
Not the whole bottle,
but just
we don't judge if you do, because we over here like to drink whole bottles.
Right, but I'm just saying,
judge your mama.
Your diet also has a play in your mental health. Like, I don't eat a lot of processed foods. I don't eat a lot of fast foods. I can't remember even the last time I ate a burger. But I battle with my moments where I have like anxiety, and then sometimes I feel like I'm super depressed. But I have to also be like, okay, well, what did I eat? What have I eaten?
And if you feel yourself slipping, don't be afraid to go get help.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I've been to AA meetings.
Yeah.
You have too?
Yeah.
We both. I went to see a therapist. I mean, when you hit 2 cop cars, you'll go to AA. But I've been to a therapist 3 or 4 times in my life. I've had like three therapists at three different therapists at different times. Yeah, don't be afraid to just get the help you need.
Or just go sit in on an AA meeting. I found that to be very eye-opening, just because
it was
like people are just very honest about their situations, and for me, I'm an empathetic person, so I can always put myself in somebody else's shoes and like understand where they're coming from. So it made me feel like, wow, obviously my situation is not as extensive as somebody else's, but I can appreciate, wow, like people have stories that are worse off than what you. So if you are feeling those type of feelings, like you are just like alone in the world, I would suggest go maybe sit in the AA meeting and just listen to the stories, because these people that are seriously like hardcore in there, they've got some stories, and
they have some stories, and it was very eye-opening for me as well. And then a small teeny part of me was like, she will be fun to party with, but It was a couple of people in there. I'm like, girl, you sound like a good time. But no, honestly, it's eye opening. But that's anything. If you feel you have a problem with food, if you feel you have a problem with sex, if you just feel like you have a problem and you feel imbalanced, don't be afraid to look up your local free counseling sessions and group sessions, and
or just talk to somebody.
Be healthy, friends. It's a tough world out there. Don't let it take y'all. But anyway, so this week we're recovering from relocating. As you know, both me and Adrianna live here in Houston, Texas, and neither one of us is from Houston.
Nope.
So we both ended up here on probably two completely different stories. So I'm not really quite sure about how you ended up here. So let's just jump right on into it. How did you end up in Houston? Because you're from Corpus Christi, which is Texas.
Capital of the world. It is.
So she's from Texas. She's just not from Houston. So how did you end up here?
Well, it was a nice sunny day, and my mother, God bless her, I love you so much. She gave me two options.
That's how all great stories start.
She gave me two options. She said that you can follow my rules and live in my house and do what I say, or you can get out.
How old were you?
18. So I said,
"Oh, you thought you was being fast."
I said, "Mama, I'm gone."
Yes, Diamond.
So at the time I was driving, my grandpa, he had let me drive his old Honda. And this was like 2003, 2004. And the Honda was like a 1988 hatchback Accord. So it was super old, but in my 18-year-old mind, I'm like, okay, well, I can drive this to Houston, no problem. So once my grandpa found out that I said that I'm going to leave and move to Houston, he took the car away from me.
Got him!
So, everybody's kind of like sabotaging me. And I remember...
I can't. Sabotage?
They sabotaged me. Mm-hmm. So I remember my mom was just like, how are you going to move to Houston? You don't know anybody. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to be here. And so she was just like, she was just not convinced that I was going to leave. So I think that was probably maybe like in January, February. So I worked at Olive Garden at the time in Corpus Christi. That was my first real job. And I literally slept there I worked doubles, triples if I could. Like, I literally stayed there. I opened and I closed.
You was determined.
I was determined to get out. And my grandpa, he took the car away from me. And then I remember he said, how are you going to get to Houston now? That's what he told me. He said, how are you going to get to Houston now? And I was just like, I'll buy another car.
Motherfucker, I'll walk. That's what Justice said.
No, I said, I'll buy another car. So he just kind of looked at me like, you ain't finna buy no other car. You don't have no money. So God had other plans for me. So the day that I bought my car was the day that I moved out.
Where did you go?
I bought a 1997 Buick Century. It was candy apple red, peanut butter on the inside, jelly on the outside.
So were you still living with your mom at the time?
Yes, okay. I was still at my mom's house, and everybody gave me shit. My dad gave me shit. My brother gave me shit. Nobody really supported me because they thought that I couldn't do it. Even my stepdad at the time and my grandpa made a bet that I wouldn't last 6 months. And 14 years later, I'm still out here in this thing. But anyways, yeah, like they were just not supportive of anything. They never supported anything that I did. So I really had to, like, I knew I had to leave. So once I had got my car and I said, fuck it, I'm just packing up. So moved, and I remember spring break, my first roommate, which is my best friend, we went and we looked at these apartments. And at first I didn't think that I could afford it. I mean, they were like $500.
Whoa, shit. $500?
$500. I was like, oh my God.
That's steep.
I don't know if I can do this.
That's steep, man.
But, luckily the universe favored me, and we got an apartment, and it just, everything just started working for me. Yeah, like, And then I remember they were like, well, how are you going to work? Where are you going to work at? You don't have, like, you're 18. Like, where are you going to work at? And I said, I'm going to work at Olive Garden. There's an Olive Garden out there. And they were like, what? So I ended up transferring to the Olive Garden.
Come on, Olive Garden, have a transfer program.
Yes.
Have a transfer program.
I transferred to the Olive Garden on Southwest Freeway. Shout out to Olive Garden on 59 in Gessner. I worked there for several years. And, but yeah, like, basically that's how I came out here. Like, I don't want to say I felt like I was grown, because I wasn't, but I just knew that I couldn't stay under the grips of my family and their need to control my life. I didn't want to be controlled. I didn't want to be told what to do. I didn't want to be told how to live. And then, you know, they were always telling me, like, the world was scary. And
it is, though.
I mean, the world is scary, but it's equally not, because I think that if you, I mean, yes, you're gonna
depends how you handle yourself.
You're gonna be fearful of things,
Yeah.
but I think if you walk with that fear and learn to walk past your fear, the world is a great place. Like, that, mind you, it's some fucked up shit out here, but I think that all in all, you know, it's worth discovering, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want somebody to tell me what the world was like. I wanted to discover what the world was like for myself. And that's kind of one of the things that really pushed me away from my family. Was I don't want them to tell me what anything is like. I don't want them to tell me what God is like. I don't want them to tell me how people are going to treat me. No, I want to see it for myself. So that's my story. But shout out to the tourist capital of the world, Corpus Christi, Texas, home of Selena Quintanilla Perez, Queen of Tejano, always and forever. We have 5 beaches, wonderful scenery. It's just a good time. Home of Whataburger. If y'all motherfuckers eat Whataburger, it came from motherfucking Corpus Christi, Texas.
I do not like Whataburger.
Okay, well,
at all.
That's my story. That's how I got here.
Well, I'm a little different. I came here probably like 6 years ago. I was 25, 26.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of over Orlando. By that time, I graduated fam, so I had came home. I was like defeated because, like I said, I went to school and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was like looking for. I had a job, but it wasn't anything that was going to be my career. I was completely bored out of my mind with Orlando because it's a nice city, but it's very family and have kids, and everybody I knew was getting married and they were having kids. And I just, after graduating, all my friends went back home to, like, they were all from like Atlanta or like these other big cities, and it's just like going back home, not having a job and having a degree was like, it sucked.
Yeah.
So I started a master's program, but I still was confused. I think I dropped out of my master's program twice before I actually completed it. I completed it on the 3rd time, I believe. Yeah. So I got into 2 master's programs at the time in Orlando, but I was like hella confused and just working, and I felt like I was dying inside. Like, I can't explain it. Like, the guy I really liked at the time was on an up and up, but we weren't together, so that was like shitty to kind of watch, because I kind of attached myself to his dream, and he was living out his dream in LA, and I'm here in Orlando, like living with my mom, and it's terrible. And not that living with my mom's bad. My mom's really cool. My mom had a nice house. She don't really bother nobody. She's very much so in her room and in her space. So it wasn't bad. And my mom didn't ask for money either, which I always appreciate. She was one of those parents that if you live with her, just don't tell her no when she needs something. But when my mama needs something, it's like, can you go to CVS and get me a Snickers? You just can't be like, nah, I ain't going to CVS. Because, I mean, in hindsight, that's all she asking for. And you staying in a luxury, no rent, no nothing, nice TVs, lights is on, By that time, like, we really weren't eating, like, she wasn't cooking, but if she was out, she'll go to, like, Chili's for you. It wasn't a problem living with my mom, in short. But I still was, like, dying inside because it felt like everybody was moving. I hung out with, like, super smart girls when I was in college, and they knew what they wanted to do. So they kind of graduated and hit the ground running. So, and then all the guys I hung out with played a sport. So they all went on to play overseas or in the league. So it was like, I kind of just felt I was like down and out, like really
left out.
I was left out. I was defeated because so much stuff had happened when I was in college. And it's like, I did all this to get a degree that I can't even fucking use. This is a shit show. I'm working at this bullshit job that I hate. It was ridiculous. So, I had a homegirl at the time who kind of was like in the same space as I was, except she had a son. And she kind of was tired of being in Orlando. And she was just like, I'm going to go. And she had lived in Texas for a bit, in Dallas, I believe. So it was like, oh, I'm going to move. I want to move to LA. Like that was my goal since I've been a kid. That's still my goal now, is to eventually get to Los Angeles. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go to LA. But then I started like looking at how much it costs to live in LA. And LA ain't for the broke. So I was like, I can't afford that. So Texas popped in my mind like really randomly too. It wasn't like the thing about me in Texas, that had never been on my map. Like LA, New York, maybe Atlanta, Miami, like all these other cities. Yeah. Texas was not like, when they call Texas the Lone Star State, I feel like it is the Lone Star State to the rest of the world. Like it wasn't.
Nobody thinks about it.
Yeah, ain't nobody was thinking about this shit. So I happened to know some girls that lived in Texas, but they weren't like my friends. They were like people I knew on campus when I was in college. So I started like asking around I started asking the people I seen on my Facebook about Texas. And somebody gave me the advice of, if you move to Texas, it's out of Dallas or Dallas or Houston. Dallas is all white people money. Houston is younger black people, and Houston is basically the new Atlanta. And I was like, cool.
They said Houston was a new Atlanta.
I quote. Now that was a goddamn lie, but I was like, wow. New Atlanta? What is
I'm on the way.
Like, I'm about to be popping in the new Atlanta. So I told the girl, and we had like this idea. I think that's when Instagram boutiques started getting big. And we're like, we're going to open up a boutique. Mind you, we could have did this shit right in Orlando. But no, we were really going to come to Houston, Texas. We were going to open up a boutique. Everything was going to be wonderful. And we're going to have all this money and we're going to be popping. That was like the goal. That was the story. I came out to Houston once and I looked around and was like, all right, cool. I'm moving. Like literally like that. Didn't see shit. Didn't know nothing. Go back home. And I really didn't have a date. I kind of was just like still winging it a bit. Like my mom always says I threw a dart and I ended up in Houston. That's kind of really how it was. So at the time I was in the third master's program and one I actually completed. So I was still getting financial aid and I was like, all right, well, at the time, the problem was I had that fight in college and it was a felony arrest because they charged me with a felony. It got downgraded during the court time, during the plea out, but originally it was a felony. So what I didn't know was when you have a felony arrest, it stays on your record as if you have a felony. So I hadn't gotten my records expunged. So I was trying to get an apartment, couldn't get an apartment for shit because I have like a felony arrest that pulls up during my background. So the girl who's supposed to move with me ended up putting her name on the lease. And then I'm like, okay, cool, bet, we out. So I left before she did. I packed up my Honda Civic. It was like a 2001 Honda Civic. It was silver. And like by this time, it had all the miles because I used to drive it back and forth from Tallahassee to Orlando. And I used to sneak off to Atlanta when I used to live in Tallahassee. Like that car had been up and down Florida. And from Miami to Tallahassee is 8 hours. So I was just ripping and running through like the state of Florida for years, like at this point. So I packed up this Honda Civic that probably shouldn't have even been on the road like that. And I put all my shoes and I had nothing. I literally came here with shoes. I did. It was shoes, a laptop, clothes, and my DVDs. That was it.
That's hysterical.
And like anybody who knows me knows I have a shitload of DVDs. So DVDs, clothes, shoes, and my laptop. I remember pulling out the driveway and my mom was like, all right, bye. And she kind of looked like it was like weird because like she was proud. It's just like, gosh, she's really leaving. Because I had told everyone I was leaving. And like even the day I left, like even when I left, it was like a few days before I actually left was like, oh, we leaving. Like it was like really like quick and spur of the moment. It wasn't like this long drawn out plan. So we drive all the way to Texas. It was a long ass ride. I hate bridges. So we crossed all this like these bridges and swamps when you're going through New Orleans. They have like this one bridge that's like, it's like train tracky, where it's like, you could see it like rails. I hated that bridge. And then I thought once we actually got to Houston, we got to Texas, and it was like, welcome to Texas. We got out, I took a picture. I was so excited. I made it. And I'm thinking like, oh, Houston's around the corner. Failed me. It was like another 3-4 hours from that time to Houston. I get here. She gets the keys to the apartment. It's a shithole. I'm talking about like, it's like, it is. It's like shopping carts, dirty babies, and pit bulls. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Where did you stay?
At the time I was off Hillcroft, was it?
That's probably
like Chapel.
Yeah, that's.
But I didn't know anything.
That's
so
hood, baby. That's
I
hood,
didn't know.
baby.
So I was like,
that's like Gulfton area.
Like, this isn't like what the pictures look like online. So either way, the girl I was with, I got her a plane ticket back to Florida because she was going to come later. So I stayed here, and I had money because of financial aid, and I was just like, all right, here we go. And maybe the first month I was okay, but I was lonely. Like, when I say I was like home, like crying all the time, and did I make a mistake? Because I was there with no furniture, no nothing, like no bed, no sofa, no fucking nothing. Like, when I say I moved here with nothing but clothes, shoes, and DVDs, that is it. So I was driving, and I heard on the radio this thing about ABC bartending, and they were like, do you need to learn how to be a bartender? And I was like, oh, I could be a bartender. I drink enough, and I'm a girl, and I think I could be a bartender. So I went to this class for 2 weeks and learned how to bartend. And then right after that, I got a job because, of course, I was right about being a girl and being a young, cute girl. I knew I would get a job. So I ended up bartending, and that became like my bread and butter. But then what happened was, before I actually was getting money like that, I missed rent. And the place we stayed at, basically, I shouldn't have been in the apartment without the person I was staying with, the person whose name was on the lease. So it ends up being like, you're not the person who's supposed to be staying here. You got to leave. So now I'm stuck in Houston with basically I'm about to be fucking homeless. So I called the chick up, and I'm explaining the story, and she says to me, well, I mean, it just seems like a whole lot, like, you know, like everything's not aligned, and what are you going to do? They basically said you have to go, so you got to go, you know, maybe you should just come back home. And so I was like, the fuck you mean? Like, I drove all the way out here. At this point, I done spent money here because I paid like a couple of months of rent. And it's like, you're telling me to come home after I did all of this to get here. Like, at the time, my car had got broken into. Well, actually, I think they tried to actually, like, hotwire my car. Because, like, when I came outside, my trunk was open. And, like, where my steering wheel was, all the wires was, but they couldn't get the shit to start. So it was, like, a whole bunch of shit. But that's not my personality to give up. So she was just like, you should just, you know, come home. And I'm like, the fuck you mean come home? Like, pack this shit back up and drive up. Like, for what? Like, I'm here now. So, long story short, we kind of, like, I hadn't talked to her since then. Because we kind of had a fallout because it's like the money I spent. And then she kind of was like, well, I spent money too. So it was just kind of like, it was an awkward situation. Yeah. And then I was all the way out here too. Yeah. So what I did was, during that time too, I had got my records expunged. So I applied for where I stay at now, and they accepted me. And the thing is, I actually technically still didn't make enough money to live here. It was because of me being in school and having financial aid that actually put me over the amount I needed to actually get the apartment. So technically, I couldn't even afford this shit.
So you've been here ever since?
Ever since.
The same apartment?
The same apartment for 5 years. So because I couldn't, and the funny part was I actually couldn't afford the shit when I did it, but it's like, oh my God, okay, that's over with. So I was like so stressed out. When the people came to move me, I ended up paying them to just pack my shit. Because it was just like like my stomach was hurting. I was like sick. I was like having cold sweats at night. I literally don't have shit. I think I had just bought my bedroom set, and like I was bartending, so I had like I gave them like $1,000 cash for the bedroom set I have now. And like that was like my first big purchase when I moved to Houston. So like I was making moves, but then like all this stuff came at once, and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? So I had the people pack me up and move me. I had to move into the apartment I stay at now. And I just hustled through it. Like, I was like hella offended. Like, looking back, I wonder what she's doing now. Because, like I said, it's kind of, we didn't talk after that. Because it was just an icky situation because money was involved. And, you know, her name was on the lease. And it was just like, it was a very awkward situation. But I knew then I couldn't go home. And not that I couldn't go home, because I could have went back to my mama. That wasn't going to be no problem. Me going back to my mama was not an issue. But it was just like, I got here and I can't fail either. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to try everything before I go home. And at the time, I knew I could get myself out the hole, because that was back when I used to eat, sleep, and drink bartending. Like, if I had to work 7 days a week straight to make sure I had enough money to keep lights on and keep rent paid, I was doing that. Now, don't get it twisted. There's been plenty of times I called my auntie, shout out to my auntie Lissa. I have called her and be like, hey, I need rent money. But like, even when I was in this apartment struggling and getting notices on my door and them telling me, like, if you don't pay your rent by the 11th, we're going to evict you. It happens.
Side note, you guys, you actually have till the 15th if you live in Texas.
No, they told me that. Like, I had my ass out.
No, that's not true. You actually have till the 15th to pay your rent.
Like, so what, and then the thing is, what I learned is I didn't know my own strength. Like Whitney Houston, I didn't know. I didn't know how like I was raised. Like, I was very pampered for the most part, and my mom fixed everything. But when I moved to Houston, she had lost her job of 25 years. They did layoffs. So by the time I got here and got settled, my mom was the type of person that if you needed money, she would give you what you needed. She wasn't going, she wasn't one of those parents who she did give long speeches. But if it was like, you need X amount of money to get out of whatever situation, she was that parent that's going to give you X amount of money to help you and get you out of whatever situation. But by the time I moved here, she had lost that job, so money wasn't as free as it was. So it was literally, I realized within myself, I work a lot better when my back is against the wall. Because in reality, I shouldn't have, I'm shocked that I actually survived here in a sense, because the chips were down more than fucking once. Like, I'm talking about letter on the door, how I'm gonna keep the lights on, my car broke down, how am I gonna do this? This is a shit show. I can't survive in Houston. And then out of nowhere, I didn't, like Whitney said, I didn't know my own strengths. I still stay here. I stay in the same apartment. I can afford it. I be paying my rent like a week or two before it's actually due nowadays. Bad bitch. I still know. Like, now, because it's such a good feeling to be like, rent is due on the 1st. I got it on the 24th. Here y'all go.
Bitch, I'm gonna pay it on the 3rd.
No, I paid
the 3rd at 11:30.
No.
And I'm gonna slide it through that door.
You ain't shit. But that was like the thing for me. Like, Houston, I grew up a lot in the process of Houston, because everything was, I'm gonna call my mama. And then that was taken away from me. And then I had to figure a whole bunch of stuff out. So it's been quite a journey.
So your first roommate, you only went through for one roommate, technically.
Since I've been here? Yeah. And we didn't live together because she came to Houston when I moved here, but she flew back. And she was coming like a month or two later. Oh. So I've always lived by myself.
Oh, see, when I moved out here, I didn't live on my own. And I didn't honestly even think that I could live on my own. I didn't think I could afford it until I had to.
Yeah.
So my first roommate, I know you guys, that was my best friend. She got pregnant, and she decided she wanted to move back to Corpus. And then
your mom thought you was coming back.
She thought I was coming back. And then I found another friend that I was working with at Olive Garden. She had an extra room, so she was like, "You can stay with me." So I was like, cool. So we stayed together for maybe 2 years, and she ended up getting into some altercation with her child's father. Jesus Christ. And so the dad was threatening to take the son away. So she was originally from Mississippi. So I remember she called me, and she was just like, hey, I'm going to Mississippi. I don't know when I'm coming back.
She never came back.
And I was just like, well, I mean, we got to renew our lease and, And she was just like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I can't afford to have my son taken away from me, so I'm in Mississippi with my parents. I was like, okay, cool. Well, when you gonna come back?
you wasn't trying to get
I wasn't.
it.
I wasn't getting it.
You
I
didn't understand.
understand.
You didn't understand.
So then she was just like, well, I don't know when I'm coming back. So I just remember I was working at Papados, the first, like not Niggados, the one off Westheimer, the original Papados. And I remember going to the bathroom and I started crying because I didn't know
how you was gonna afford
shit. I literally was just crying. And then I remember, so I was working at Papados and Olive Garden at the same time.
Come on, double shifts.
Yes. And I remember I had this lawyer that would come into Olive Garden because his office was like damn near like a block away. And he would always ask for my section. So I remember during a lunch shift that I was working, I was like really sad because I had no idea how the hell I was gonna pull out. Like I can't afford this apartment, and I've never had my own apartment, so I don't know anything. So I remember he asked me, he's like, "Why do you look so sad?" So I told him,
like, nigga, I don't have nowhere.
I'm fucked up.
I'm about to be out.
And so he was just like, "Come to my office tomorrow. Let's talk about it."
Come on, sugar daddy.
So I went to his office. He was an African dude.
Come on, African sugar daddy.
He was like, "Adrianna, it's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. Don't worry about it." So he was like, "What apartments you want to go to?" So I was like, I don't even know anything. So I literally was just driving around, and then I turned on Windrock. I used to live like Windrock and San Felipe. So I turned on Windrock, and I was just driving down, and all I see is special, $4.99 special.
You was like, that is it.
I said, bingo, this is it. So I went in, and I told him my situation. I needed an apartment, filled out the application. The lady called me and she was just like, "You're gonna need a co-signer." So I called my mom. I was just like, "Mom, I need a co-signer."
Fucked up.
Fucked up.
So it got rough out here.
And so she was like, "Okay, well, I don't know, but I'll do it." So it ended up going through. So I needed a $300 deposit, mind you. I didn't have fucking $300.
Woo, tough out here, man.
So I remember I told the lawyer guy, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need like $300." And then he was just like, "Okay." So he just pulls out his,
come on, sugar daddy.
He pulls out this binder of checks, and he writes me a $300 check. And then I'm thinking like, oh my god. And mind you, he's like 4'1".
Oh well, it don't matter how your sugar daddy come as long as the money is the money long.
The money was long.
No,
but
don't
I
worry
was
about
just
that.
like, oh my god.
You're worrying about the wrong thing. That's not what you're supposed to worry about with your sugar daddy.
I was just like, okay. So he hands me the check, and I go and I drop it off at the apartment and get the apartment. And literally my first apartment, 766. I'll never forget. And literally, I had a bed, a dresser, my little 24-inch TV.
I ain't had no TVs when I came.
I had a little 24-inch TV, and I had maybe like half of a closet full of clothes, and then I had like maybe 10 pair of shoes. That was it. That was completely it. And I remember I got into this apartment and I just started crying because I was just
stressful.
Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
It's stressful.
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
That's how I was.
This is just like so much for me. And I was tripping because I was at Olive Garden and I was at Papados and I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make. And then I remember my friend, she got pregnant and she was working at this place called Scott Gertner's Sports Bar, which was where Prospect Park is now. And so I remember she was just like, well, can you bartend? And I was just like, well, yeah, I bartend at Olive Garden. So she was like, okay, well, come and talk to the manager. And at the time, I was so nervous. I was so scared. Like, I remember driving by there one night, a Sunday night, and Sunday nights were like
the night.
I was like, oh my god, I can't fucking work there. Look at all those black people. Look at all those
Negroes and African Americans in their African American clothes doing African American things.
Like, I was like, oh my god, I can't fucking work there. So I remember she was just like, go see the manager. His name was Harvey. So I was just like, okay. So I go in, and I was just so intimidated by everything. I was so nervous. So I just, instead of a bartender, I just put waitress. And so, you know, we were talking, and then he was just like, so what do you do at Olive Garden? And I was like, oh, well, I bartend there, and then sometimes I waitress. And he goes, well, I need bartenders. Why didn't you just say you were a bartender? And I was like, I don't know. And he was just like, okay, well, you're hired. And I was just like, really? And he was like, yeah, you're hired. And I was like, okay. So my first day working, and that's when I met all the girls. So when I met Drea, and I met all these other girls, and Shayna, they were all there, and they didn't have any like outfits for me, so I had to wear this big ass shirt. And did you worked? So you wore tread safes, right? You know what tread safes are?
No.
The black shoes, like the
slippery shoes,
the non-slip shoes.
Oh, okay.
Those ugly Walmart non-slip shoes. So I wore that with some shorts and this big ass like triple XL Scott.
God, you're such a loser. You're such a loser.
And you know, my hair was like half frizzy, half straight because it was humid, and I wasn't wearing weave at that time. And then, you know, they were like saying how this is the spot, and if you want to be popping, this is how you got to be, this is how you got to talk to these customers, da 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 da. And I think it was like maybe my first month, Vince Young, he had just signed with the Titans. He had came in and he bought the bar, and like, I mean, it had to have been like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. He spent like over 10 grand. And that was the first night that I ever made $1,000 cash.
And you're just like, this is it.
And I was like, I'm rich! I'm rich! You know how they show those videos of people like
throwing money
and rolling in the money?
I was like that too.
That's how I was, like in my little hard ass mattress bed.
Yeah.
And my grandma gave me, God bless her, I love you, Granny. She gave me this old ass, hard ass bed, and I remember I had like these little thin ass sheets, and I just remember throwing the money up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm rich! I am rich! I think I was like 20, I was 22 at the time, and that's when it was just like, the transformation came. I started weave. I was shopping at Arden B. Do you remember Arden B? I was shopping at Arden B. Guess Marciano just had a store open in the Galleria. Bitch, I was in there shopping, eating at the Cheesecake Factory.
You know, what is it about? That is true too. When I had this guy who was in the NBA I was dating, and like when he started giving me like money, that was the thing. Like Cheesecake Factory, y'all couldn't tell me shit about Cheesecake, bitch. I used to buy a Cheesecake Factory down. Okay,
bitch.
I'm talking about listen.
Salmon egg roll.
And they had at the time, I don't know if they still have it. They had that pink lemonade they make with Scott vodka. I was buying like 10 of them hoes. Y'all couldn't tell me shit.
I mean, you couldn't tell me anything.
You couldn't.
Girls, y'all want to go eat? Where you want to go?
Who picked up a tab? I will pick up a tab in a minute.
Pick up a check in a heartbeat.
Wasn't nothing. Ain't nothing to a boss.
But yeah, so that was like kind of my
coming out party.
Coming out, and then my dumb ass decided I wanted to move to Dallas. Yes, moved to Dallas. Lived in Dallas for about maybe 10 months, and
got rough.
That, like, I always tell people, when I lived in Dallas, that was like my wilderness phase. Like, I was out there in the wilderness trying to.
You was about to strip.
Almost. I remember I called my friend, and I told him, it was my guy friend. I told him, I was just like, look, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to Onyx tomorrow.
I'm gonna get this job,
and I have to. And I know I'm gonna get the job.
I think it's so funny that Onyx is in Atlanta, and Houston, and Dallas, and I believe there's an Onyx in like North Carolina.
I'm not too sure, but I know there's one.
It's a chain. It's funny to me.
And the next day I was going to go and apply to be a stripper, and I remember my friend. He was just like, "I'm coming to get you in the morning. Don't you fucking dare." I was at my wit's end. Like,
I mean, because at the end of the day, like, even for you, when you came to Houston, you came with virtual. I mean, you had your friend, but she left. You have to literally get to know people. And build relationships. So sometimes when I'm like by myself, I randomly think about how I have like friends in Houston when my whole life is literally Orlando and Tallahassee, Florida. And it's just like, I have friends that check on me, that make sure I'm alive. Like, it was just, it's the weirdest thing. And like, and friends, for some strange reason, I've always been very good at picking friends, but in Houston, I picked a circle of friends that are like real ones. Like, I'm talking about, shout out to Maria. I remember I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have to go back home. I can't afford it. That girl gave me $1,000, like, no questions asked. And then after giving me the $1,000, because you know when you borrow money from people, or like when you do those check cash advance places, if you're behind and you borrow money, you stay behind.
You're always behind.
You're all like, you don't need the rest of your life behind. So that's how I kind of was. I was always behind.
Yeah.
Maria was like the first person. She gave me the money and she was like, whenever you get a chance. So I had like time to like catch up with myself and then pay her back. So like, she's like one of the reasons why I'm not living under 10 right now. Like, I really was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go live under the freeway. Like, I don't know how I'm doing this.
Yeah. No, luckily, the first set of friends that I had were some girls that I worked with at Olive Garden, and she was from Missouri City, and they always loved to go out. They introduced me to like the club scene, and turns out they were all just fake as fuck. Like, they were basically using me. And, because I'm such a nice person when I'm invested. And, I mean, one girl lived with me. Turns out she was fucking some dude that I liked and that I wanted to be with.
Damn, bitch!
And I was so pissed off. I was so mad about it.
Somebody's sleeping in
I was so mad about it. This girl, mind you, she's like a pretty poppin' stripper right now. Like, she's...
Hey, turn up.
She's a pretty poppin' stripper. Anyways, she slept with this guy that I really, really liked. We dated for like a couple months, but and nothing transpired after that. But I was so pissed off at her. Like, I took a shit and I grabbed her toothbrush.
Oh my God.
And I put her toothbrush in the toilet.
Oh my God.
And I put her toothbrush in the toilet.
Oh my God.
Because I was so angry.
Oh,
but I'm not going to touch her.
Oh,
but I was just like, I'm going to get
Fight
this
me,
bitch back.
Fight me. You put her toothbrush where your shit laid?
Yeah, I did. Mixed it all in.
That is so fucking gross. I would have killed you.
Well.
Fight me, but listen.
Well.
Fight Ebony.
Honestly, I was pissed off.
Nigga, don't do shit.
Her best friend knew. Her best friend knew I did that.
You put her toothpaste where your shit was.
Yes, I did. I did.
You're fucking gross.
I was
and
pissed.
Remind me to hide my toothbrush from you.
I was pissed.
Nigga! Cuss her out!
No.
Who puts a toothbrush in shit?
You don't fuck with people like that.
You don't fuck... Who cares? Her toothbrush, bitch!
Yeah. And then the next morning, she was just
scraping. She was scraping her tongue and shit. Oh my God. Then she probably cleaned the back of her teeth. And the roof of her mouth.
I'll never forget that. I was so pissed off. And that's when I realized I am a conniving, evil ass bitch.
Oh my God. Remind me to stay on your good side.
I'm a conniving, evil bitch.
We have a fallout. I'm just going to fight you because I know you're going to do some shit. I'm going to fight you for the thought of doing some shit in my toothbrush. We going to have to fight.
But I mean, I've grown since then.
You put that girl...
I did. I took a mean shit and then I grabbed her toothbrush and I swirled it around the toilet.
Oh
and
my God!
Like this.
That is so gross.
And at first I thought she was gonna smell the toothbrush.
Cause who smells a toothbrush? You expect your toothbrush to just been sitting there, weirdo.
But anyways, but I felt like she deserved. I felt like all those girls deserved what they got. But we're no longer friends anymore, so it doesn't matter. But
holy fuck.
Yeah, I did that, and I'm. Hey. It happened. That bitch really, and that's because this bitch didn't even have a car. And I would take her to work, pick her up. She slept in my bed.
You put her toothbrush in shit. That's unforgivable.
Well, fuck it. What's unforgivable is that I was so nice to you and you sleep with the guy that I like behind my back without even having the guts to say that you did it. Don't do that.
Didn't you mess with your friend's boy ex-boo thing too?
I didn't live with the girl.
Ugh.
I didn't live with her.
You put a roof over her head.
I put a roof over her head and food in her stomach.
You put her toothbrush in
I'm
shit.
just saying.
Oh my God.
Like, it happened, but yeah, that was. But needless to say, I don't hang out with those girls anymore.
That is so disgusting.
But yeah, I lived in Dallas, and Dallas was hard. Dallas was probably one of my roughest periods. Like I paid gas with coins. That's how you know you really broke. When you are
How many
paying
coins did you use?
with nickels and dimes, not even quarters.
That is
Nickels and dimes. That's how I was. And then I remember I met this rookie for the Dallas Cowboys, and I was just so embarrassed because like I just didn't have anything. Like, and I remember he was like really trying to talk to me.
You do not listen. When you don't have shit, it makes it really hard to talk to people because you're embarrassed by.
It's just
you don't
like,
want nobody coming to your apartment.
Yeah,
I ain't have shit.
I didn't have nothing.
I don't think I had a bed. Like
Look, so when I had first moved into this apartment, right? This was my first apartment here. I met a guy that played for the Texans, and he used to come into Scotts all the time. And we hit it off, we kicked it or whatever. And I remember he was just like, I want to hang out at your house. Let's go to your house. And I was just like, look, dog, I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't got shit. Like, I have absolutely nothing. Like, I have a bed, a dresser, and a small TV. And I was so embarrassed. But, of course, I let him come over because I was just like, oh, he plays for the Texans. So I let him come over. Literally, I didn't have any living room furniture. I had nothing in my living room.
Me neither. Please.
Nothing.
My living room and dining room set came from a friend.
I didn't have even that. I just had a bed. So he just like walks into my apartment. He's like, and then slowly but surely, like the next couple times we hung out, it was at his place because he was just like,
I can't. You have nothing.
You have nothing, bitch.
You have nothing. You have nothing to offer me.
You have nothing but pussy to offer me. Basically.
But what did you learn from yourself through like your Houston trial and errors?
That I'm stronger than I think that I am, and I'm smarter than I think that I am, because it's weird. Like, I always knew when God wants me to move in a different direction, because he always places these really traumatic like events in my place. Like when my roommate left to take her son back to Mississippi, I was literally like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Like, and my option was never to, I never thought of going back to Corpus, ever. That was never my thought. But it was just almost like, okay, God, I don't know what to do, so you tell me what to do. And slowly but surely, it's like, okay, go to work in the morning. Is somebody going to be there? Sure enough, that guy was there. And I remember, like, tell him what's happening to you. So I told him. Went to his office, gave me the check. My mom was so, like, concerned that she wasn't going to get the approval, but she ended up getting approved. So it's just, like, these little things that, like, these major things that have happened, it just lets me know that, you know, God got me.
That's kind of how I feel too. Like, I came here to get kicked out the apartment, to literally not be able to afford this apartment, to literally lose a car. It was my fault though, but to like have to basically get a new car. It was just everything that could have possibly happened happened. In just some weird way, I managed. I end up like I don't work at the hospital now, but I worked at the hospital for about 3 years and had like a good job. So it was just weird. And then to just kind of look around and know I have friends is like the craziest stuff. Like I'm actually a part of people's lives. Like their kids know me by face and their families know me. For somebody who literally had nothing to do with I had nothing to do with this state. I had nothing to do with this city. This shit.
Yeah.
Atlanta would have been a better move for me because that's where most people go, especially when they live in Florida, especially when they went to school in Tallahassee. Atlanta was the place to go. New York made more sense. Texas didn't have shit to do with my life and my family. I remember when I got ready to move here, they were like, you can't get in trouble in Texas. That's a red state. Like, they had me scared of all the racists and white people. So it was like a no man's world to me. It was just like, why are you going to Texas? What? And then to get here, and so like I said, I don't think Texas is my last place. I don't. I think I'm going to move. I do know I'm going to get to Los Angeles, but I can't be upset with what Texas has brought me. It brought me a lot of independence. Mm-hmm. It's brought me a lot of strength. It's brought me a lot of knowing that when my back's against the wall and if I only have me, I will be fine. Yeah. Because I've been pushed to that brink a few times where it's just like, okay, how am I going to make this happen? How is this going to work? Yeah. And I got out of it. Even with the DUI thing, like when I went through that first court case, I had like a lot of family behind me because it was just a fight and I was in college. I went through this DWI situation virtually by myself. Yeah. And what people don't realize is when you go to court, people think it's over because it's been a month or two. Court lasts a year. Like a year minimum. And if it's like bigger stuff, you might just be in court. The system for like 2 years or something like that.
That's the fucking worst.
So like I basically did that by myself. And I went to court by myself, and I figured it out by myself, and I paid my lawyer by myself, and I pay granted it was me who did it, but I paid everything by myself. I didn't have a person to go tell. Like my mom just started like inquiring about the probation like yesterday, basically. Like I went through everything by myself, and it's like, okay, so if I'm ever in a position where it's just me, I'm actually okay. And my mom raised me good enough to fend for myself, to figure it out. I have enough street smarts to get through regular stuff. I will be okay. Yeah. So moving for me was growing pains, especially from a girl whose mama basically would have did it and everything. Yeah. So
I think moving for me, it really helped me to just really be almost grossly independent. Because now it's just like, nah, nigga, if I can do all this by myself, what do you bring to the table? What?
I mean,
if I can, like, you really have to be like, but I just also remember like my mom telling me, if you want something, you got to get it yourself. Nobody's going to give it to you.
And they're not.
And they never have. If you want something, you got to go get it yourself. And luckily, I've been blessed along the way to have people in my life that if I was to call them right now and say, hey, man, I'm fucked up. I need some cash. They would do it. And these are just people that I've met.
And I mean, that's always a good thing.
So, yeah.
So for anybody who wants to like move, I say do it.
Just do it.
Plan as much as you can. Because let me tell you something. Life is just going to happen.
It is. But if you plan. See, when I moved to Dallas, I didn't plan. I went off a whim. And I thought that I could do the same thing that I was doing here. I thought that I could do it there. But when I tell you every door shut in my face, everything was just horrible. Everything. And that's because I didn't plan. I didn't look for, like, I thought I was too, and mind you, there was an Olive Garden right across the street from my apartment complex. But I was too good for that.
I mean, you had elevated.
I had elevated. I thought I had elevated, but it was funny because when I moved back to Houston,
you was working.
I went right back working at Olive Garden.
You're an Olive Garden. You should have been the president.
I mean, they wanted me to be a manager, but I was just like, fuck that. But
plan, because the thing about planning too, life is gonna happen, so your plan is gonna switch.
Yeah.
So at least have enough money saved and just have a lot more.
Like a plan A, B, and C.
Girl, you need A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Because sometimes your A and B don't fucking work out.
I was supposed to have a roommate and she did not show up. Like, for real. Like, I was here by myself.
My last roommate, I remember on my birthday, she smoked meth.
Nigga, what? Was she white?
Yeah.
White people love meth.
And I remember I had walked in the apartment and her eyes were so big. And then I remember like maybe a couple days later we had went out to a club, and that's where she met her fiance or whatever. And she met him. We went home. The next day they had went out on a date. I didn't see her for like a couple days. She came back and she said, "I'm moving to California." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Girl, you and your
What?
you and your roommates.
I was like, "What the fuck?"
You needed to live by yourself.
That's what I was like, "Yo, like really?"
You needed to live by yourself.
But you know, I appreciated her. She did a lot for me. But it was just, I just remember that distinct moment where I knew things were kind of going downhill when I walked into that apartment and she was smoking. I thought she was smoking weed, but she's like, "Oh, you're gonna smoke meth now?" Because I was just like, "Oh, I hit the blunt, whatever." She was like, "Oh, so you're smoking meth?" And I was like, "What?"
Girl, you should put her out after that. Meth is serious. Meth
But I didn't realize it until like I Googled the like
meth is
people
terrible.
who smoke meth and how like the signs that they do. Like I remember she would always pick at herself.
Yeah, meth is right on the crack.
And I just remember that night we had went out and she was just going crazy, just like crazy. And then she met that guy. And then, like, a week later, she was like, "I'm moving to California." I was like, what? And I remember I didn't have enough money to pay the electricity bill. So, she had came and got all of her stuff out of the apartment. So, it was literally nothing in the living room. And I was just sitting in the living room. And I just started crying because they cut the lights off. They cut everything off. And so I was just sitting there like, this is my life. This is my fucking life. 25, and I have it so I wrote it all down in this journal. And I just remember sitting on the floor and it was hot. And it was like maybe a little bit right after my birthday. And I was thinking, wow, this is 25. Like, this is fucking 25.
No lights.
No roommate. I can't afford this apartment. I can't afford my car. As soon as I moved back to Houston, maybe like a month later, my car got repoed.
Oh yeah, you was out here rough.
I was out here fucking bad, okay? Down bad.
But it builds character.
Bitch, when I tell you, no, they repoed my car at Olive Garden. I'll never forget.
Yeah, I never had a car repoed.
Girl, I'm gonna tell you that builds character. Girl, because I was like, I was at work. It was crazy because I was dating this guy, and he asked me to take him to the airport. But that whole situation made me super fucking late to work. Mm-hmm. And when I finally got to work, it was like crazy lunch rush, whatever. So I had to park and usually my ass parks right in to-go parking. Like, I park right in front, right by the front door.
That's where you messed up at.
But God knows. God knows what he was about to do. That's why I know that God has me in the palm of his hand. He didn't want me embarrassed. So I had to park all the way in the back of the restaurant. So I remember, like, somebody was like, "Hey, Adrianna, somebody wants you in the front." So I was like, all right. So I'm thinking, it's a request. So it's this guy, and he was just like, "Hey, Miss Blair, we're going to need the keys to your car." And I said, "For what? Who are you?" And he was just like, "Well, I'm with such and such, and we came to take your vehicle away. Chase Bank has put a lien or something out on you, and we need to go ahead and get the keys to your vehicle." And I said, "Excuse me?" "Excuse me?" I said, "Let me call them." And so the lady was like, "You need to pay X amount of dollars right now, or we're going to go ahead and take the car." Of course, I didn't have it. So I just was just like, what the fuck?
So you handed the keys.
So I had to hand over the keys, and I was like, "Well, can I get..." And then by the time I walk outside, my shit was already on a flatbed. So I was like, oh my God.
So did you get your stuff out the car?
And I had to get, do that sad walk and get all this shit out of the car.
It is rough, man.
That shit was embarrassing. So then I was just like, so I had to tell my coworker, and I was just like, "Yo, I'm gonna need a ride home tonight." I need a ride home. So I remember, I was probably like maybe a month into the apartments that I live in now. And I remember I didn't pay my light bill. I was in my apartment complex with no lights.
How many days?
At least 3 weeks. Nothing.
I never got that
no
bad.
electricity.
I never got that
No
bad.
electricity because I had to save to buy a car. And then I started fucking with this nigga, and I finally broke down and told him my situation. So he gave me half of the deposit to pay for my car.
Thank God.
And then I was just like, okay, cool. Now I can get electricity.
No, I was over that. Now I knew for sure. Like I said, I couldn't call my mom at the time, but I have an aunt that when push came to shove, I knew I could call her for like rent and lights, because I knew they would always want me to have a place to stay and lights.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call. Like a lot of times, I would just be late on the rent because I didn't want to. Like I only use that shit for dire needs.
Yeah.
That means I really don't know how this rent is going to get paid.
Yeah.
That is the only time I will call my aunt, and that would be the same thing with lights. I never really had a problem paying a light bill, but
Bitch, I used to always have problems.
yeah, I don't want my issue. But even with all that being said, if you're a person and you're young and you want to explore and you think you're in like a dead town, or you just want to move, or you just want to move,
Plan ahead.
If you just want to move in general, I say do it and plan as much as possible. Try to get you a job in the city. Don't, because I kind of came out here commando, like with no draws on.
Get your
just
prepaid lights if you're gonna do it, because your prepaid you can monitor that.
Girl, just listen.
Yeah.
Plan but be flexible. I think we say that every episode.
Yes, because it's just real out here.
It got real weird. But I don't regret Houston at all.
Don't regret it at all.
It's been a good
I
time.
don't regret Dallas at all either.
Huh. Okay, friends. So we have a letter from Oisha's diary this week.
Woo! I love these letters.
We're gonna name her Barbara Streisand. Okay. Hey girls, hey. I need extra money, and getting a second job for minimum wage just ain't it. My friend is a stripper and does private parties out of town, and I'm thinking about doing the same. What do you guys think about sex work? Love, Barbara Streisand.
Hey.
Just because is stripping sex work? They consider it? I guess so.
Hey, motherfucker always told me you sitting on a gold mine.
I've heard that as well.
Hey, if
listen, you gotta do what you got to get what you want.
I'm not here to judge. If you are okay with it, you're okay with the repercussions of whatever may come with that lifestyle, sis, get your fucking money. See, me myself, I can't do it. I'm gonna go and give me a little 9 to 5.
I can't either. I've worked up to the year 2016. I got 5 W-2s, which means I worked 5 jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't mean worked, quit, got a new job. I'm talking about I worked 5 jobs simultaneously throughout 2016. That is when I really decided I wasn't gonna have no issues with rent and lights.
I think
so.
That's a lot to put. That's heavy on your spirit, man.
If that's not your personality, don't do it. Because stripping ain't for everybody.
No,
it's just not. I mean, look at Players Club.
Diamond had an exit goal.
She had a plan and she stuck with it.
She stuck with it.
It wasn't for Ebony.
Ebony,
they're gonna rape you. See,
you just have to be careful in those situations, because it's like that. It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery. Listen, this is my thing. Everybody's not built for stuff like that.
No.
Personally, I'm not.
I'm not either.
I wouldn't be built for stripping in case I was heavily intoxicated every night. So then I would become a drunk, or more of a drunk. And then I feel
would you even be that good?
And then no, but I'm saying, like, I see how people end up drinking to drugs because it's at some level where it changes. It starts to shift. So I know I couldn't be that type of person because I wouldn't be that comfortable being naked in front of all those people. And plus the way my attitude is set up, it's like, you don't give me what I need right then. I don't entertain well. That's why I never really did well with sugar daddies, because I'm not a person who entertains people. If you can't give me what I want within the first date or two, I don't want to be bothered. I'm not a finesser. I'm not a good finesser. I don't have the patience to be a finesser. So, and you know, it's just a lot to live with, and it's a lot of I watch a lot of For My Man on TV One. For My Man, which is basically Snapped. And it's just a lot of grimy people in that industry who's looking to take advantage of women and who want like, I went to apply for a job maybe like my first or second year living here at a strip club. And when I applied for the job,
What strip club?
It was right here on Westheimer. It was like a white one. And right outside of the strip club was like some 2-bit hustler, like, and he didn't look like a 2-bit hustler, but he came up to me and had my Honda Civic at the time, so it's like my first year or two. And he's like, yo, what's up, Slim? And I'm like, what up? And he was like, what, you trying to dance? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to be a bartender. Now you'll make more money if you dance. And just the way he came at me, if I was like a weak-minded girl, I probably would have been like eating what he was saying up, because he said a lot more, and like he promised me like stars and lights and, you know, sunshine. And if I was like a weak-minded chick, I probably would have fell for it, and it would have been easy for me to fall for it, because at the time when he approached me, my Honda Civic had Florida license plates and shit.
Oh, so you were fresh meat.
Yeah, so he knew I wasn't from here, so he probably would have had me in some sex cult or something. So it's a hard life to live.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I've heard people have really good stories. I've heard people have horrendous stories. I've heard people say it was like the best time of their lives and they made good money. And I've heard people say it was the worst time of their lives and they got into drugs and all types of other shit. So you need to know yourself before you do that. Yeah. And I understand that working another minimum wage job is going to suck, but you ain't going to be the first or last person that had to do that.
Hey, and just also, if you think about it like this, like it's just a means to an end. So even if you were to get just a regular ass job, it's just a means to an end. It doesn't matter. And you don't know
what can come. I think you need to, honestly...
You just need to explore your options before you jump in the deep end.
Jump in the deep end with your ass out.
Because, you know, the sex trafficking shit is real out here. I've been watching a lot of, like,
rape is real out here.
Like, that's a scary type of thing to go into if you don't have to. Like, if you don't have to do that and you're smart and you can do other things, like, I would explore your other talents.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Learn how to bartend.
Or bartend.
If you need a means to an end and you need quick money, it sounds like you already have a job and you just don't
bartend.
You don't want to work another job. You need to find some people you know that bartends. Or maybe go on YouTube. Bartending is really not that difficult.
It's not.
You go on
YouTube. You just count to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I do 5, but I think I talk fast.
Because you're in a hotel.
Yeah,
hotels they do to 5.
Yeah, I mean I still do. I still do a shorter. But anyways.
But you get what we're saying.
Yeah, if I was you, I would honestly start applying. And I know sometimes it's overwhelming when you're looking at Indeed and Monster.com, because like you look at these jobs and they tell you
you need to have
a PhD.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a PhD to be a customer service rep. So start applying, get your resume together first, and start applying for all jobs. Anything that you think you'll be interested in. You never know. You don't know the mighty God we serve.
That's right.
You'll be around here getting a good job off nothing. So, and I don't know if you went to school or if you didn't go to school, but I'm telling you right now, apply.
Let that be your very last resort.
Yeah, apply for all the jobs as possible, and then try to learn how to bartend or find somebody who will help you bartend. And trust me, it's worth bartending 2 to 3 nights a week versus
popping your pussy
on a headstand for a goon.
Because I'm telling you, man, that's not it. That ain't your life.
Especially because it sounds like it's not your personality. Like, I knew some girls, like, back in Florida who used to, like, do house parties. But, like, it was their personality. And I remember, like, I just couldn't do it. It was just, like, men there. You know, men are overly aggressive and overly... And those private parties be a different world. Like, at least in a strip club, it's, like, boundaries. Those private parties, they're hiring you to... not just bounce up and down. They hiring you to
suck a dick, put a dick in your
kiss
ass.
Girls. Like, they're disgusting.
Yeah.
I remember my homegirl was at one stripper party and the girl had her tampon on and her string fell out her her G-string. Yes. So my friend was like, your tampon's showing. Ain't that so terrifying?
That's awful.
But it's just a lot goes on, and it doesn't sound like you're completely sure. So if I was you, like I said, I would get my resume together, start mass applying for jobs. And it's a lot to apply for jobs, but mass apply for jobs and try to see if you can get into bartending, because honestly, it's it's fast money. You know, you don't have to sell your pussy, and it's easier.
And if you do try to sell your pussy in bartending, it's like you have a barrier wall against you. That's it's like you can flirt and
you can decide how far you want to go with people at the bar versus when you doing private parties, they just assume you want to suck a dick for $100. So or $50. I don't know how much sucking dick goes for these days. Not my ministry.
$100 to suck a dick?
Does that sound like too much?
It's a lot of work, especially
to suck a dick for $100 to suck a dick.
Is that a lot?
Is that not? How long it take somebody to come?
Hey, he could be drunk. He could be high.
$100? How much do you think pussy go for these days?
I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't.
It just seemed like $100 in the club seemed like that's not a lot.
That's a lot.
How much you think? $500 to suck a dick? That's too much. Niggas can't be paying no $500 for no dick sucking.
So $100 to get some head? Is that?
I feel like it's $100 to $200.
I feel like that's pretty low
to suck dick. I don't know. $100 to $200 seemed like it would be the cost in the strip club to get your dick sucked. Because I couldn't imagine guys going into
$50 to get your dick sucked.
$100 to $200. And I really want to say
how much is pussy?
I don't know the going rate of vaginas these days. I ain't sold none. Not in that form.
So is it okay? So
but honestly, I wouldn't fuck for less than my rent if I was out here selling pussy. we're getting the bare minimum to the rent.
So okay, so I hooked up with my ex probably maybe like a couple months ago, right? Mm-hmm. And I gave him some head, and I told him, like, after I gave him some head, I told him that I needed to get this car paid off, and he ended up paying it off.
But that's your ex. We're talking about straight. That sounds
so. That's not. That's not a transactional thing.
A lot of stuff is transactional that people don't want to say transactional. I've had a lot of transactional sex. I've had a lot of sex. I'm gonna do this, and I know this is gonna come. Yeah. That is transactional sex, and I'm not above a transaction. I would never be above a transaction. Like, let's get this clear. Am I on a corner like $50 to hit? No. But am I like, he got money? I know he feels the need to pay.
So I'm gonna suggest that I need something paid.
What needs to be paid. He's going to give it to me. I don't care. It can come in form of a cash app. It can become. You can actually put the money on a nightstand. I'm not offended.
So that could be another way of approaching the situation.
But you have to. It doesn't sound like that's an option for her, because that was an option. She wouldn't be contemplating stripping. Like, knowing that I have some people I can go to, I don't contemplate stripping. I contemplate like, I need this, so let me butter him up, and then in the process, let's go to dinner. Let me throw in some shit I need. Let's eat these drinks. Let's drink these drinks and eat this food. Let me also discuss some more. Let's have sex. Let's pillow talk about what the fuck I need. And then the transaction happened. I believe in transactional sex. Oh, I'm not above it. Not above it. I've had it.
Dog, my ex, and it was so funny because he was just so willing. Because at first I was just like, nah, that's cool.
The exes don't count.
Really?
Yeah, they do, but they don't, because I feel like if he's an ex, he always has a soft spot for you anyway, so he don't want to see you struggling and hurt. I'm talking about just straight target niggas that y'all ain't gonna be nothing. Like, you're a target. Like, I know we ain't gonna be in no relationship. You know we ain't gonna be in no relationship. You like messing with me. I like your money, but you a good time too.
Target niggas.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not about it. Like, girl, sometimes you just gotta throw in what you need.
Hysterical.
You know, sometimes I remember, like, I needed, like, my windshield. It was so hot in Florida one time, my windshield buzzed, and I needed, like, my back window buzzed, not the front window, because they replaced those for free in Florida. And at the time, I ain't had the money, man. I was straight out of college. I was struggling. I did Sunday Fun Day with this guy I knew who had coins. We hung out all day. He knew. I was like, I'm not going to come because my window busted. He's like, no, just drive it here. And I was just like, no, like, legit, the window's out. I pulled up to like this 5-star hotel with like a grocery bag in my window, literally like a 5-star hotel. We partied all day. We hooked up that night. He woke me up and told me to call safe flight, whatever it's called. And they came to the hotel and fixed my window.
Bless.
See that? And that was like a $200-$300 transaction. And I got to party and hang out with my friends. And I had, tipsy sex. See? Transactional sex. Not above it. Haven't done it in a while.
I haven't done it.
Haven't had transactional sex in a while, but not above it. So, girl, if you do got some sugar daddies in the area,
or just find you a good one. Just find you a good.
Listen, if you
want to bust it wide open for somebody and strip, find you a sugar daddy to do that for.
Let me tell you something too. You need to get you a sugar daddy that's like soft on you too. I had this guy who literally cared about my well-being. So when they care about your well-being, they don't even want to sleep with you. They just don't want to see you in pain.
Yeah, they don't want to see you struggling.
And pain means financial pain, spiritual pain, mental pain. They are willing and able to help.
Yes. See, I gotta do like that.
You be like, oh my God.
I gotta do like that.
I think I'm depressed.
He can sense it in my voice. Honey, what's wrong?
Yeah. I want to save you.
What's wrong?
Save me.
Tell me.
Save me.
What are you gonna do for
Let
your
a nigga
birthday?
save you.
I'm here.
Oh, you can't afford the flight?
Look, he like, let me put a care package together for you.
You can't afford the flight? You need help with the flight? That ain't nothing but a word. A flight? Oh, I got you.
You staying at this hotel?
Oh.
Baby, let me upgrade you.
Oh, you going out tonight?
Tell daddy what you want.
You going out tonight and you don't have no money for drinks? Let me send you $200.
Yeah, that's fine.
Have a good night on the table.
Come swing by my office real quick.
Listen, when they say swing by my office, no, the coins is coming. And when you gotta swing by the office, the coins is coming, and all you gotta do is say hello and walk out. Because guess what? They at the office. He busy.
That's all you have to do is collect.
Come in and swing out, but make sure you put together. But come in and swing out. Hey,
and give him a hug.
Give him a hug, not too much, because it's the office. You collect your coins, you walk out, and send a thank you text when you get a card. Like, oh my God, babe, thanks so much.
Like
you're amazing. You're amazing.
So much to me.
You're amazing. I never know
that. They love that shit.
They do. They do. I've had niggas.
Bitch, I have niggas.
Yeah. Oh, continue to fight, girl. Listen, my patience is just way different now. But, girl, don't do anything uncomfortable.
Look, I would suggest you look.
We just told you. We just told you.
Gave you a whole plethora again.
Apply for some jobs for L Monster and Indeed. Learn how to bartend. Find you a sugar daddy. No need to have your pussy on the pole.
Nope. Because you can do it.
And that is word from Latoya Ebony and Adrianna Cool.
Bless.
Okay, guys. So, thank you for listening once again. It's always a pleasure. We got some videos coming.
We got a lot of videos coming.
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
It'll be the next week.
Okay. We're going to hold Adrianna to that. Last time she said a couple of weeks, I had to snatch the videos from her. So, we'll see.
That's okay. But you know what? We grow. Within this year, we grow. We're growing.
We grew.
We're growing.
We grew.
We're learning.
We grew.
We're blessed.
But, so guys, don't forget to write us at Recovering Party Girls or Recovering Party Girls Letters at Gmail, both her Gmail accounts. I'm Latoya Ebony on all social media.
Miss Cool in the City.
Oh, and to the person said our ad looked cheap, fuck you.
Matter of fact, I want you to post a picture of yourself.
He did tell us our ad looked cheap.
It looked cheap?
And the girl did tell Adrianna that her mama
First of all, my mama ain't steal shit.
This girl on IG told Adrianna that her mama stole the medication.
I'm gonna pull it up.
She told us that Adrianna mama stole it on the 5-finger discount on you hoes, and I holla. It's funny. That is funny, ma'am. What did she say?
Kaha, A1 Day 1, Miss Private Account, Somali made, Canadian raised, April's very own.
Okay, you don't do all that. What she said?
That brown-eyed lady.
Listen, Adriana's mad because the girl told her
nobody gave her samples of medication she didn't need. She got herself a 5-finger discount. Man, my mama don't steal.
So basically, the girl said Adrianna mama stole, and that
Kaha FTW.
That is funny to me.
It's funny, but my mama didn't steal nothing.
Funny. Well played, girl.
It was samples.
Well played.
You know what samples are? Kaha FTW.
I cannot. Well played, girl.
Get at me.
And who
Fuck with me.
And I don't know, I can't remember the girl on Twitter who followed Adrianna after listening to the last show.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. Hold
God.
up.
She just gonna roll this
Shout
episode out to 2 hours looking for stuff.
Hey, fuck it. Let's do it. We're here.
You don't even know how to find it.
I'm 102 followers in. I know how to find it.
So shout out to the girl that randomly followed Adrianna as she looks for it.
No. Hold on.
You don't know. Hold on, y'all. Let me look, because I probably can find it before her if my Twitter will upload.
Yes. Atlanta Y Hope. Atlante Hope.
Atlante Hope.
Atlante Hope. Shout out to you, girl. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following me. I appreciate you.
She's a beauty expert, mom of 2, and fashion lover.
I'm here for you, girl. Home is where the heart is. I'm here for you, girl.
She's been a part of Twitter since June 2009.
Y'all go follow her.
I think so her name's Taylor, I believe. Because they say Tay loves lipstick, so I feel like her name's Taylor. But shout out to you, girl. Thank you for following. Thank you for following
Her name
Adrianna.
could be like Tay Monte or something.
Her name probably Taylor. What's your name, girl? Message her.
Yeah,
that's what.
know. Yeah.
What's your name? I think it's
What's
Taylor.
Your name?
It might be Taylor.
But thank you, Atlante Hope.
Oh my God, you guys.
Thank you so much for following me. I appreciate you, girls. Shout out to you. If y'all follow her, if y'all have time, just thank you.
Thank y'all for listening. We will see y'all next week. Bye.